What if I told you that a function can call itself, and that's not a bug? It's actually one of the most elegant ideas in all of programming. Today we're diving into recursion, and by the end of this video, you'll understand exactly how it works, why it matters, and how to write your own recursive functions in Python without breaking your brain or your computer. Here's what we're covering today: what recursion actually is, how the call stack makes it possible, the two rules every recursive function must follow, classic examples like factorials and Fibonacci, and the common mistakes beginners make. Let's get into it. Section 1. What is recursion? Let's start simple. Recursion is when a function solves a problem by calling itself as part of its own solution. That sounds circular at first, almost like a paradox, but it's not. And here's the key insight. Think about Russian nesting dolls. You open the biggest one, and inside is a slightly smaller version of the same thing. You open that one, and there's another. Eventually, you hit the smallest doll, the one that doesn't open. That's recursion. Each step is the same process, just on a smaller version of the problem, until you hit the point where the answer is obvious, and you stop. In programming terms, imagine you want to count down from 5. You could use a loop, sure. But with recursion, you could say counting down from 5 means printing 5, then counting down from 4. Counting down from 4 means printing 4, then counting down from 3, and so on until you reach 0, where you just stop. Here's that in Python. Def countdown. N, if n equals 0. Print, blast off. Else, print n, countdown, n1. See how countdown calls itself? That's recursion. Simple, readable, and kind of beautiful. But how does Python actually keep track of all those calls? That's where the call stack comes in, and it's more interesting than you might think. Section 2. The call stack. Every time a function gets called in Python, it creates what's called a stack frame. Think of a stack frame like a sticky note that Python writes, recording what that function call needs to remember, like what value of n it was given and where to return to when it's done. When you call countdown 3, Python writes a note for that call. Inside that call, it calls countdown 2, so it writes another note on top. Then countdown 1, another note. Then countdown 0, one more. Now Python has a stack of 4 notes. At countdown 0, Python hits the base case, prints blast off, and throws away that top sticky note. Then it returns to countdown 1, finishes that, throws away its note, and so on, until the whole stack is cleared. This is called the call stack, and it's exactly how your computer manages nested function calls. Recursion just makes this especially visible. Here's the catch though. The stack has a limit. Python won't let you stack up millions of sticky notes. If your recursion goes too deep, usually around 1,000 calls, Python throws a recursion error. It's basically saying, I ran out of sticky notes. So the call stack is what makes recursion work, but it's also what makes recursion breakable, which is exactly why every recursive function needs to follow 2 non-negotiable rules. Let's look at those next. Section 3. Base case and recursive case. This is the most important concept in this entire video. Every single recursive function must have 2 things: a base case and a recursive case. If either one is missing or broken, your code won't work, or it'll crash. The base case is the stopping condition. It's the smallest version of the problem where the answer is obvious and no more recursion is needed. It's the smallest Russian doll, the blast off at 0. Without it, your function calls itself forever, until Python kills it with a recursion error. The recursive case is the part where the function calls itself on a simpler version of the problem. The key word here is simpler. Every recursive call must move closer to the base case. If it doesn't, you're going in circles. Let's make this concrete with a classic example, calculating a factorial. The factorial of 5, written as 5, means 5 times 4 times 3 times 2 times 1. The pattern? The factorial of n is n, multiplied by the factorial of n minus 1. And the factorial of 1 is just 1. That's our base case. Def factorial n. If n equals 1, return 1. Else, return n asterisk factorial, n 1. When you call factorial 5, it returns 5 times factorial 4. That returns 5 times 4 times factorial 3, all the way down to 1. Then it multiplies back up. That unwinding of the stack, building the final answer on the way back up, that's recursion, working exactly as designed. Now, what happens when you use recursion to solve something a little more unpredictable, something where the numbers seem almost random? That's the Fibonacci sequence, and it changes the game a little. Section 4, Fibonacci and tree recursion. The Fibonacci sequence goes 0, 1, 1, 2, 3, 5, 8, 13, 21. Each number is the sum of the two before it. It shows up in nature, in art, in financial modeling, and it's a classic recursion example because each call branches into 2 more calls. Here's the recursive definition. The Fibonacci of n equals Fibonacci of n minus 1 plus Fibonacci of n minus 2. The base cases are Fibonacci of 0 equals 0 and Fibonacci of 1 equals 1. Def Fibonacci n. If n equals 0, return 0. Elif n equals 1, return 1, else. Return Fibonacci n1 plus Fibonacci n-2. This is called tree recursion because each call splits into 2 branches, which each split into 2 more, forming a tree of calls. It's elegant. It's also expensive. For Fibonacci 6, Python makes dozens of function calls. For Fibonacci 30, it makes millions. This is a perfect example of why recursion isn't always the most efficient solution, but it is sometimes the most readable one. Understanding both the power and the cost is what separates a good programmer from a great one. And speaking of things that go wrong, let's talk about the most common mistakes beginners make with recursion, because almost everyone hits these. Section 5, Common Mistakes and How to Fix Them. Mistake number 1, forgetting the base case. This is the most common. Your function calls itself forever until Python crashes. Always ask yourself, what's the condition where I stop? Mistake number 2, the recursive case doesn't actually get smaller. Maybe you call factorial n instead of factorial n minus 1 by accident. Same problem, infinite loop. Make sure each call brings you closer to that base case. Mistake number 3, returning nothing. Python functions return none by default. If you forget the return keyword in your recursive case, your answer disappears. Always double-check that you're actually returning the result of the recursive call. Mistake number 4, going too deep. If your problem genuinely needs thousands of recursive steps, recursion might not be the right tool. Python's default recursion limit is around 1,000. You can increase it, but honestly, for deeply nested problems, a loop or an iterative approach is usually safer and faster. The good news, once you've built the habit of asking, what's my base case, what's my recursive case, and am I actually getting closer, you'll catch these mistakes before they happen. Wrap up. So let's bring it all together. Recursion is a function calling itself to solve a smaller version of the same problem. The call stack manages those calls, one frame at a time. Every recursive function needs a base case to stop, and a recursive case to progress. Classic examples like factorial and Fibonacci show you both the elegance and the trade-offs. And common mistakes almost always come down to missing or broken base cases and forgotten return statements. Recursion is one of those concepts that feels confusing at first, then clicks all at once. And once it clicks, you'll start seeing recursive patterns everywhere. If this helped you, hit the like button. It genuinely helps this channel grow. Subscribe so you don't miss the next video, where we go deeper into data structures in Python. And drop a comment below with one question you still have about recursion. I read every single one. See you in the next one.